Good day, fellow hunters. This is Jared O'Lantern coming to you with, well, I guess it's basically going to be a haunt build part one. The haunt, as of yet is still has no name. We're still working on coming up with a name for the haunt. Um, but I've been watching a lot of haunt build videos as of late, and I'm getting super excited and got really encouraged to go ahead and do the first step, which for me is doing the floor plan. Now this is the floor plan drawn to scale. Don't remember exactly what method I used, but it is pretty much the scale. So now I'm sorry if it looks super confusing and convoluted at this point, but this is basically the arrows represent the direction in which the guests will be walking, and then the color lines represent the whatever theme they'll be seeing at that point. So before I actually go through the whole description of the haunt, I just want to take you, if you remember from my original video where I showed you the location of the new haunt. So this first one right here to the right hand side of your screen, that's the outdoor shed. Then this L-shaped piece here is going to be a temporary structure I'm going to make using rebar, PVC, and black plastic, and it's going to be kind of like a tunnel that will shift them from the shed to the back porch. And then right here, where you can kind of see the word swamp, I'm sorry that I drew all over my labels, but that is going to be the back decking porch where they're going to be walking up. Then from there, they are going to be walking into the laundry room, and that will be the first part of the haunt. So then they're going to walk where you see the yellow and purple lines. The yellow represents the kitchen, and then where it says laboratory, that's the small little room off the kitchen, which will also be used. And then where the purple line goes in and out, that represents the dining area, or at least part of it. And then so I'm gonna go ahead and now describe how this all works. Now the only thing that I forgot to label here is kind of important is the actual entrance. Now for them to walk to get into the haunt, they're gonna do it way over here on the left side, kind of where you see vampires. That's the side of the house. They're gonna walk through a long walkway that goes through a gate, and then we have a fairly large backyard, so they're going to walk all the way to the back of the backyard. And then the official start to the haunt is, and I'm probably going to have some stuff like over here to your left hand side of the screen. I'm going to have like just a lot of static props just for something for them to look at while they're waiting. Excuse me. And so the arrow at the top of your screen, that represents the official start. So they're going to walk into the shed. And then that square to the right hand side of your screen right there, that's kind of like the smaller shed within the shed, kind of like a storage area. And that's going to be the section where I'm going to have the kind of the pumpkin massacre section, where it's the joke about instead of people carving the pumpkins are carving up the people. It's almost like, I'm not a zombie fan, but it's almost going to be like a pumpkin zombie type of situation going on. And that they will not actually walk in there because there's a door to that storage area, so it's kind of just, we open the door, they get a scare, and then they just keep moving on. So you can see the arrows, the direction that they'll be walking. So in here we're going to have the hay bale popper, pumpkin nester. I want to get those fogging pumpkins they have at Spirit this year. So then they're going to walk out of the shed, and now they're going to go into that tunnel that I will be making, and I'll be doing a video on that as well. And this will be kind of like the Field of Fears section. Again, I drew right over that, but it does say Field of Fears, and that's still going to be kind of like the pumpkin patch theme. I might still have some pumpkin props in there, but this is going to be more like scarecrows and werewolves and other outdoor type of field, cornfield related props. So then they're going to walk down that kind of like temporary hallway, and then so where the orange ends, we're now looking at the green line. So go ahead and disregard the red for now because that comes later. So they're going to walk up the porch, the decking, and so the green line basically represents the beginning of the swamp section, um, which is kind of also part of the witches section. Um, but I actually have, the 7-foot towering Hagatha witch. She's more of like a swampy witch. She's not so much like a spell casting witch. So I wanted to kind of create a swamp atmosphere just for her. And being that she's so tall, I'm gonna go ahead and put her. You can see where it says MP, part of the swamp word. That square right there is going to be kind of just a temporary structure that I'm going to house her in. So she's gonna be covered either with plywood or even just black plastic. So she's basically going to be on the ground while people are up a few feet on the deck. So they're going to be eye level to her, being that she's so tall. And then we're going to make it look really swampy with, swamp type of plants, fake or real, not sure yet. And then some frogs and other swampy creatures. So then they are going to continue walking. As you can see, the porch is going to be like a really mini maze. So you can see like the kind of swirly line there that just represents them walking, back and forth through a maze. And you can see the arrows too are also kind of showing the direction how they'll be walking. Can't talk today, sorry. And then so they're going to go into the laundry room. So this will begin the first indoor portion of the haunt. But we have not changed themes yet. This is still going to be the witches. So this is where I'll have the Stitch Witch Sisters, the Witch of Stolen Souls, and a few other witch props. Hopefully I'll be able to fit them all in there this year. And then so that's not going to be too much of a maze, more just kind of like a quick walkthrough. And then as you can see where the green line curves to the right, they're now entering the kitchen. And this will be the asylum portion of the haunt. And as you can see, the arrow directions shows a bit of a maze in and out, just showing all like the asylum props. I'm gonna have the static maniac prop. I'll have the wheelchair psycho. I'll have the insane serial killer, and then this is actually a room, and I'm getting in more detail than I really wanted to. I just want this to be basic, but for this room, I wanted to do a kind of like a chain link cage to make it look like we have kind of like a psycho, patient in the asylum, and I wanted that to be a real actor, and so he can like scare people. But again, that will come later. And then so this is the small room that sits off of the kitchen. This is really small. It's like 6 feet by 12 feet or something like that. And that's going to be the laboratory. That'll house the evil scientist and other like science props. It's going to be really, I envision it being super, bubbly and, fog-like, and just really kind of have that atmosphere of a evil laboratory. So you're going to walk out of that room, and so all these doorways, like over here where they walk out of the Witch's Hollow into the asylum, they are going to be walking in and out of the same doorway. They just won't know it because I'm going to have a curtain that the guide will open when they enter and then close behind them when they go into the next scene. And then so that same curtain will be opened up, but just on the opposite side. So if that makes any sense, good job, because it didn't make sense to me. But anyway, they are going to now walk out of that room, and then they're going to go into the dining area. And we're only using, it's a pretty large dining room, but we're only using maybe like 1/3 of it. And this is going to be all the ghosts, or most of the ghosts anyway. And I think I have more ghost props than I do any other theme. So I'm going to utilize the largest area, in which I believe this is it, to be for the ghosts. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this yet. For this floor plan, I basically just have them walking in, circling the area, then walking back out. I might be doing like kind of like a sectioned off partition thing where they kind of visit each character, before they leave. I was also thinking that we could have like some sort of like a this is gonna sound bad, but sort of like a peep show where they kind of stick their head into like a hole and then they can see the prop in action. Oops, sorry about that. You know, one by one, and then maybe have some real actor scares within those sections where they stick their heads in. Again, just all speculative at this point. I'm not sure. So anyway, there is the purple represents all the ghosts, and the ghosts are going to extend all the way into back into the kitchen, and then they're going to walk back through that door they came in from the laundry room into the kitchen. Now they're walking out of the kitchen back into the laundry room, and this will be the vampire section, which they will walk through. And I've always wanted the vampires to be the final section of the haunt. I don't know why. Sometimes you're thinking about your haunt and you have something in your head and it just sticks there. So, but I wanted my bloodthirsty prop, being that I love that prop so much. I wanted her to be kind of like the final scene for the haunt. Kind of build the story around her basically. And then, so as you can see, the red line ends back at the porch in which they walked up earlier. They're going to cross paths over when they walked up to the haunt, and then they're simply going to exit on the opposite side of the house. Again, a long walkway with a gate. They're going to walk through the gate. Before the gate basically is right there. As you can see, the room at the top of your screen, the gate is right there. But, you know, instead of being inside, of course, we're outside. And right there where the exit word is, I want to have a real live actor to do one final scare. You know, it could be like a chainsaw scare. It could just be a screaming scare, popping out of a bushes scare, whatever. Even if this character doesn't have anything to do with any of the themes, you know, it may not be a vampire or a ghost or, you know, a pumpkin, whatever. But just for one final scare to kind of chase them out, and then that'll be the end, you know, for a big, nice, climactic ending to the haunt. I do have an actor in mind who would be willing to help, and we just got to make sure we get all the right costumes and, you know, essential props for him. And, you know, he's a really tall guy, so I'm hoping that he does come through for us, because I think he would be an awesome kind of final scare. So they're going to walk down, again, this long walkway, and then they're going to be put back at the front of the house and then be on their merry way. And so that is it, you guys. That is the plan for 2016's Haunt. Again, don't have a name yet. Working on it. But so I'm hoping that all these arrows and all these colors somehow make sense to you. It does make sense to me, and can't wait to physically start putting this together, because I'm super excited, and I hope you are all having luck putting your haunts together as well. It's a very exciting time of the year for us haunters. So yeah, that is it. Again, thank you guys so much for posting your videos. I'm having a lot of fun watching your guys build videos, and so thank you so much for watching this. And I'm not exactly sure when part 2 will be posted, but hopefully it is soon. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, happy haunting.